Hi, and welcome to In the Front Row, all things news, reviews, and interviews. My name is Jamie Lee, and today I'll be doing a review of the HBO hit series Euphoria. This came out in 2019, so I'm proper late to this party, but I didn't even hear about it until January this year when season 2 premiered. And then all over my social media was like all these edits or memes or whatever they're called about like rules for life and Maddie versus Cassie. I'm shipping for Flexi. And I thought, what is this teenage rom-com crap that I'm missing out on? Like, that is my genre. How did I not see this one? And so I did a little research, and I don't know how I missed it because there's so much controversy. There was, everyone had an opinion on whether it was glamorizing drugs or if there was too much nudity for like a teenage drama series. It was so talked about. It's actually the second most watched show on HBO, apart from Game of Thrones, of course, which I still haven't watched. Yeah, I know what you're thinking.
You don't watch Game of Thrones?
Yep, I'm one of those people. So I watched the trailer, and obviously it stars Zendaya, Coleman Domingo from Fear the Walking Dead, Jacob Elordi from Kissing Booth. So straight away I was like, yep, I'm in. This is my type of show.
I really want to watch it.
So I started watching, and from the first episode, I can see where all the controversy comes from. You're either watching the show going, I can relate to this, or you're sitting there like I was going, what the hell is this? Like, is this what happened in high school? Was I sheltered? Was I too busy playing my Xbox to realize that this was going on? What is this? Or is this what teenagers of today go through, all these issues? But you're either sitting there going, I love it or I hate it.
The $64,000 question is,
did I like it? And the answer is, I hated it.
Bitch, you better be joking.
Sure, there were some things that I did like in it, but overall, I totally regret watching it, and I really could have skipped watching this series altogether. I'll start with the good points of the show because I don't want to bore you with the bad at the beginning, and there is a lot of bad. So the thing that I liked most about the show was the cinematography. Yes, I finally used that word on my channel. I feel underqualified saying it, so I'll probably just talk in normal terms, but I did use it on my channel. So what I liked about the cinematography was the lighting. So especially with the whole spotlight scenes, the spotlight shining on Rue and Nate and Cassie and then fading to black, and it was just shot really, really well. There were some really pretty scenes in there. So many flashing lights, the purple tones all throughout. That was really, I just liked it. Then you had the rotating room scene, where she's like crawling around. And the shooting that I really liked the most was like the split screen shooting with Nate and Jules. You got to see both perspectives in the one shot. So that was really awesome to see that as well. Not only did you have the way that this was shot looking beautiful, but you also had things in the shot that were beautiful, right? I really liked the fashion. And then also you had the makeup, all the bling and all the glitter, and it was so over dramatized and it was so dramatic, but it just blew up. And I think that's one of the good things about the show is that the fashion and the makeup, could relate to a lot of teenagers, and that's sort of how it got its popularity as well through that aspect of the show. The last good part about this show, it's not the last good part, I feel bad saying that. It's the last part that I find good about the show is the actors. I think they were given a crap script and they nailed it. Everyone nailed it. So before I get into the bad parts of the show and cop a whole lot of hate, I just want to say that I do love this genre. I love the dramas. I love over-exaggerated scripts. I love unrealistic scripts. My favorite show stars a pet tiger who literally eats baddies and zombies and doesn't eat good people. Like, it doesn't make sense, but it doesn't need to make sense because it's a drama series and it just has to entertain people, right? And that's the problem that I had with this series. It didn't entertain me. Why? Because throughout the series, there were scenes that glamorized casual sex with adults and underage teenagers. There was, underage sex working. There was really just sexualization of minors in general. So Zendaya said in an interview that it's important to acknowledge that the show is about teenagers and not necessarily for teenagers. It's important to us that the only teenagers watching it are over 18 or with parental consent. So what we learned from that is that the target audience isn't teenagers. The target audience is adults or young adults. And I don't understand why us as young adults would want to watch children be put in these situations that they're in, and specifically the sex situations that they were put in. It wasn't entertaining. So let's run through some examples of what I'm talking about, and I'll probably throw in there how I would have made it better because I know how to do it better. But yeah, this part here will contain spoilers because obviously I'm going to talk about things that have happened in the show. First, we had the scenes with Cal and Jules. Those scenes were disgusting. Those scenes were uncomfortable, and I find it even more disturbing, or on par disturbing, that there's a 40-something-year-old writer and he's the only writer of the show. Let's put that out there. So there's no one to bounce these bad ideas off, which I think is a bad idea in itself. But he thinks that not only should we write this in the script, this disgusting scene, but he shows it to us like as if we want to see that. It could have just been done a whole nother way or not done at all. But that wasn't the only scene that gave off creepy P-word vibes. There was the scene with Cassie when the older man, the family friend or whoever he was, he was hugging her and touching her and it was like really creepy and whatnot. I get what Sam was trying to show there, that she was, growing into her body and growing up and things like that. But couldn't he have shown that with guys that were her age? Why did it have to be an old man doing that? Next up, we have Maddie, who literally lost her V card to some random 40-year-old on a vacation.
Which, in retrospect, seems kind of rapey and weird, but honestly, she was the one in control.
Maddie, who was 14. I'm not getting it. My head hurts. I'm not getting this. Anyway, then we have her story with Tyler. Tyler is not 40, but Tyler is still older. He's 22, is at some random high school party, alone, might I add. And then he goes to the pool, sleeps with a 17-year-old, and everybody films it, whatever. Could she not have just slept with some other guy at the school? Like, Nate still could have had his big blow up and his reaction to that, and it still would have, escalated to where he had his first encounter with Jules, right? That big, scary scene there. All that still would have happened, but we just did not need to see that weird, gross stuff. And then we have Kat, who caves into peer pressure for her first sexual encounter where she sleeps with a guy and two other guys film it. It went viral and she received praises and encouragement about her body because she already had, body confidence issues to begin with. So to me, her story then went on to show that she gained confidence and, she became this empowered woman, all because of her, well, firstly, her first sexual encounter that went viral. But then after that, she became underage sex worker, really. She was a cam girl for like a 40-year-old dude or, I don't know, some old man. And then she had casual sex with a bunch of, you guessed it, old dudes. Why are they old? Why couldn't you just, sleep around the school or something like that? I don't know why all of these men had to be older men, and I think that by giving her the storyline of being a cam girl and making her empowered, it's just like, that is not the message that you should be sending. I am not sure where you're getting your ideas from, but women need to feel empowered in other ways, not through becoming a cam girl. And I'm not saying that people who are cam girls shouldn't feel empowered and shouldn't feel strong and confident. I'm just saying that we shouldn't be encouraging 16-year-olds to do that, because in the show, Kat's supposed to be 16, right? And she's camming for this guy who's at least 40, and that's not a good message. And yeah, I think her whole storyline, and I know all the, what are they called, Thunder Kitty Cats or whatever the blog name thing that she had going on was, they're probably going to hate it, but I would scrap her storyline entirely. Another aspect that I didn't like about the writing was that Sam put all these ideas in, and they were never really, you know, they were serious themes and they were dark and things like that, but they were never really explored, sometimes at all. And when they were explored, some things, you know, there was never any comedy, or there was never any like nice way to go about it. It took it took the topic so seriously that it just missed the mark with the seriousness, because it was never explored. He just introduced a whole bunch of things and a whole bunch of topics, which is fine, but it seems like he just did it in like season 1, shoved every single issue that you could think that a teenager would have, like such out there things, and throw them all into season 1. And then that's why season 2 was such a flop, or well, I think it was such a flop, because like really season 2 was, hey, let's do a play, or Lexi's play, and everything in that play was like a rehash of season 1. Here are some examples of what I mean. So the first one, and the one that really I did not understand at all, was McKay's university scenes. You know, so he went to the university and there was the hazing thing. So he was like violated. And for some reason, I don't know why, if they were trying to give the like rapey vibe, you know, it never technically showed that, but it was implying that. And, you know, they were calling him McGay. Don't know why. His girlfriend is literally right there. They're about to sleep together, but whatever. That was really uncomfortable. And then also straight after that, you know, he goes and he has a cry in the bathroom, and you could explore that option, but no, instead you bring him back out and they randomly have sex. But then after that, it's never brought up again. This was such a wasted opportunity, in my opinion, because every single topic that was uncomfortable and disgusting to watch in this show, it all would have been better. I don't want to say it would have been okay, but it would have been better if it was with older, you know, like university students. It would have made it seem less creepy. So that was a door opening for you to then bring in these issues, or these, you know, more mature themes, rather than having them about high school kids. That was your opening. That was the opening right there, and you just missed it. Ugh. The next what the fuck moment is brought to you by Cassie's abortion. Another scene that did not need to be in this whole show. And then if you did want to include the abortion scene in there, which I don't think we needed to see, it could have been, you know, just mentioned at some point if you wanted to include it, there should have been some sort of follow-up, some sort of lead-up, some sort of talk about teenage pregnancies, abortions, anything that related to that at all. It was like she had an abortion and that was it. It was never spoken about again by her, her sister, her mum, McKay, nothing. Why did you even put that in there other than for clickbait? There was a lot of controversy about, you know, the drug use, and that it was over glamorizing the drug use. But I actually liked how the drug scenes were written, and I don't think that they were glamorizing it at all. Sure, when Rue got high, you know, she went on these trips that seemed, you know, pretty with all the bling and the cool music and things like that. But I think the actual intent of the drug scenes was never about making it seem attractive. In fact, I think it did the opposite, and it showed a realistic portrayal of drug use and what drug addicts go through. For example, we have Cassie when she went to the carnival and she rode the merry-go-round and literally rode a horse, like literally rode the horse. That should have been added to my list before about the what the fuck moments. What is that? Anyway, straight away, she regretted that. And I think that was a portrayal of, you know, how bad things can happen when you take drugs. You know, she had her high for like a little bit and then she had her low straight away. And the same thing happened with Maddie, where, you know, she took Molly as well. And straight after that, she had that scene where she embarrassed Nate. And because she embarrassed Nate, she got abused by Nate. And, you know, it's like action, consequence, straight away. And the consequences were always bad. They were never glamorizing it or never making it look like, oh, that's attractive. And I never got those vibes with Rue either. Rue had a damaged relationship with every single person in her life. She had mental health issues. She had physical health issues from her drugs. She, tried to kill herself. She had an overdose. None of that is attractive. I don't think anybody would find that desirable. Rue's writing specifically really showed how true to addiction that show was. And I think that's because Sam Levinson said, it related to his drug abuse and things like that. So I think that he really tapped into that. And that's the one true point of the show, or the real part of the show that was believable was that piece of writing. We got to see Rue as a drug dealer. She went through every behavior of a drug dealer. There was the blame, there was the manipulation, there was theft, there was the physical abuse, everything that was typical of drug addicts was in her writing. And the way that she showed it, the way that she acted was just perfect. She did it so well. And yeah, I just think that him relating to that part of the story made that part of the story so much better. The other good thing about the writing that I liked was the Fezco storyline. I liked his character and his story in general. It was really interesting. And then including Ashtray and Ashtray's upbringing into it, that was just, and their bond together, that was so enjoyable. And, I really liked watching them. That's another thing that ticked me off. I get that he went to go be in the Umbrella Academy, which is great. I love that show too. But couldn't they have replaced his character to keep that storyline going? I feel everybody loved Ashtray. Everybody loves Fezco. Why couldn't they just replace his character? Like his little brother was actually baby Ashtray. So, and he's got a twin brother. So it's like, couldn't they have just asked the brother to play his role, even if it was just for, a couple of scenes, or, replace him with somebody else? I don't know, but just don't kill him off like that. That was dumb. What am I even watching for now? Like, I feel like the only part that I'm watching for is purely to see if Lexi and Fez get together. And if they don't, I don't want to watch. I'm done. That's it.
We're fucking done.
To me, this show was written in an attempt to get ratings. It was everything was made to shock the audience and to make them watch more, or to be talked about, which probably is good writing. I don't know. But I didn't like it. I thought it was really try hard. I feel like if Zendaya, Jacob Elordi, Labyrinth, who did the music and whatnot, and if Drake wasn't, one of the producers or whatever he was in there, I feel like this wouldn't have got the hype that it got, and I feel like it wouldn't have taken off the way that it did. Some parts of it might have, and it might have been popular, sure, but I think that it gained a lot of traction and a lot of attention because of that. And yeah, but anyway, it's popular. It's, as I said, it's watched obviously by a lot of people, but whether or not it's liked by a lot of people is a different story. It's definitely not by me. And it's a series that I definitely could have skipped, and I regret watching it, to be honest with you. Anyway, let me know in the comments below, did you like this series? Am I just nitpicking and being annoying about these, points that I've made? Yeah, let me know anyway in the comments. That would be awesome. And if you liked this video, be sure to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And then after that, head on over to Instagram and give me a follow over there too, please. Okay, that's everything. Sweet as. Bye.